some weird sounds out here last night. Some things walking around. But it's quite chilly this morning, so cozy morning under the blanket. I've actually got a big walk ahead of me today, but with a one-man crew. These things are always negotiable. No mosquitoes, it seems, anymore. Right, off into back to Bonyong. Well, I've finally done it. Spent the morning drinking tea and reading my book. Something I imagine doing all the time, but I never actually get round to it. And this spot is just so nice. It's within the temple grounds, so there are no cars or noisy machines or anything, so it's just... Just love that places like this exist and they're authentic. It's not, there's no pretense. This is a practicing temple. It's alive. And I've got 2 hours road walking now until the next set of mountain trails starts. Onto a quieter road. The bridge across the Great Juamho Lake.
어디 가요?
Hugok?
이거
네. 감사합니다.
너.
Don't cross the mountain. That is the bus to Hugok. That's fine.
길로에서 올라가고. 근데 저 옛날에는 브라질가 파선 안 뜯어먹었어요. 콩을 뜯어먹었어요. 어디 들어가신가요? 해요.
Hugok?
유마사?
응.
유마사? 후곡.
Hugok. I don't know why I think there's going to be a restaurant in Hugok just because it's a village. they might all just be farmers, and that's why I've got biscuits. Yeah, nothing going on in Hugok. Well, it says there's another village an hour up. Oh, we got a snake. Oh, it's dead, it's dying. It says there's another village an hour up the road here, so give that a try. Yeah, these are persimmons, and they're orange when they ripen, kind of like a melon taste. Look at those lovely lettuces, fresh lettuce leaves. I'll just have one. Oh, maybe two. Well, I don't think Yugyong's going to have a restaurant either. 안녕하세요. 레스토랑? 레스토랑?
레스토랑?
여기에 레스토랑이 있습니까?
네.
레스토랑?
네.
너
여기에
No?
레스토랑이
없는데?
있습니까?
아니요.
없어 이거는 없다고.
감사합니다.
어디?
He sent me to Wangdae. 2 kilometers. I think that's gonna sort me out. Whenever I find a restaurant, I can eat there.
맛집을 찾을 때마다 나는 그것을 먹을 수 있습니다.
그럼 오늘 목적지 저녁 목적지는? 오늘 저녁 목적지는?
What's your destination for this evening?
Wangdae.
왕대.
And
왕대 저 2km.
네.
아까 2km.
네.
저건 고추.
고추.
고추. 알아. 감도 아직 맛이 안 들었고. 감 아직 맛이 안 들어서 맛이 안 들어. 맛이 안 들어. 막걸리. 알콜. 한잔 해? 한잔 줘?
Alcohol.
한잔 할 거야?
Just a bit.
재밌는 친구네.
응?
알코올 이렇게
어.
흔들면 가스 공기
오케이.
공기가 잘 공기를 빼내야
네.
안 터. 이건 배웠을 거 외국 사람들 이거 배우더만.
네.
자, 아우 먼저. 자, 넣고. 자, 스톱. 자, 이거 김치.
김치 나스는
맞다, 굽다. 이렇게 찍어 먹어. 젓가락 찍어 못하지 않아? 하하, 너. 난 이걸로 할게, 자. 됐어? 자, 그러면.
맞습니다.
자, 짠,
짠.
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 이거네. 이거다, 응. 응. 얼른 와봐, 얼른 와. 아, 타막질러 와봐봐. 타막질러 와봐봐. 얼른 가, 얼른 와, 얼른. 응.
짠.
원샷. 아, 하나 찍어.
뭐?
아, 사진 하나 찍어야지.
뭐요?
응?
사진 찍어달라고?
응.
한국말 잘해?
무당마?
아니 사진 찍어달라고 빨리 오라는 거야?
아니요,
한국말 못해요?
응.
한국말
갔어요.
못해?
응.
아 그러면 좀 고전이 그러면 이거 한국 온 지가 얼마 안 됐구만 한국말을 모르면 어디 사는데?
여행 왔대. 영국.
근데 어떻게 이거를
앉아 오다가 사람 있으니까
아니
조리 앉아.
여기 나와
여행 왔대.
나와
아, 조리 앉아.
아이씨
네, 자. 자, 해봐.
짠.
됐습니다
네.
하나 둘 됐습니다 아 근데 어떻게 알고 왔어?
응?
이거 이거는 이제 거시기 갖고 와 감방 같은 것은 자세 사상 지금 처음 있는 일인데? 어디 산 사람인데 나도 몰라서 근데 한국 사람 저렇게 폭 불거지는 안 했거든 근데 뒤에서 이렇게 아니다 그래서 한번
동원이 또 어찌 알고 또 우리 또.
아 이가 있으니까 여기 들어가는 것 같구만
캠핑.
아 캠핑
네.
캠핑.
캠핑
네.
캠핑 이거 자랑캐로 캠핑
캠핑.
캠핑
여기서 커피 한잔 해라 이렇게 얼른 알아듣고 오케이 엄마 그래서
커피는 한국말이 아니지
그러니까 얼른 알아들어 듣지.
커피는 한국말
그래서 왜
집에 10병이 사다 놨었어.
아이씨
이거
이거
잡고 왔어?
꼬리 거기 앉아.
여름부터 먹어야지 오래되지 않았어.
큰일 났네 그거 12배인가 있더라 함께 그래갖고 내가 그랬어 그거 나보다
오면은
그 고춧가루 이기지 마 양념은 이제 그대로 놔둬봐 못 치게 온가 먹으려고 그래 나는
한참
아버지.
아씨가 알아서 하지 이제.
얼마나 고구가 아니고 가지고 배추 때 특별히 아무것도 안
이거
해도
맛있대요.
응?
이거 맛있어. 아니 그 봐.
어떤 것 같아요?
이술.
아, 그 술? 그 술이 또 있어요?
농협에 저2 가지를 팔더라고.
아, 그래요?
오늘 내가 갖고 온 거는 성준 막걸리 거야 아니에요.
아, 그래요?
다른 거더라고. 내가 먹어.
야누리.
우리 막걸리?
오늘 내가 갖고 온 건데 저거는
우리 쌀 막걸리, 요거는 승주 막걸리. 이거 더 맛있어요?
몰라 나는 이제 막걸리를 잘 안 먹었어. 대부분 그런 데로 막걸리 먹더니
되겠네 저기.
캠핑 온다고
하나쯤에
캠핑 온다고 근데
그게 대단하네.
잘해지 미국에서 캠핑 온다고 근데 잘해가지고 잠이 오겠는가 차라리 같이
한국이
아,
제일
예.
어렵다는
한국이
게
낫지.
그런데 외국 사람들은
사람들 생각할 때는
이게 한국 사람들은 혓바닥이 이렇게 딱딱 떨어져.
따따라버려. 따따라. 그때 했나고? 해봐.
이제 더블.
너무 적어.
깎을 필요 없어. 깎을 필요 없어.
술이 아주 이거 센데? 많이. 이거 지금 보통 아니네.
그게 뭐냐면은 이제 모든 걸 풀린 거야. 가족적인 분위기야. 이 사람은 처음에는 경계를 허었지. 안 그러면
약간은
싹다 모른 지 가서
근데
혼자 뭐 이거 힘든지.
조심했다.
아.
이게 이제 술에 한 잔 들어가니까
물을 하냐고.
처음 있으면 단풍. 시기가 지금 여행 시기가 참 어중간해. 좀 있으면 단풍 같은 것도 좋고 감요 먹을 것도 많고 근데 왕대
왕대?
직진 왕대.
예?
왕대는 직진. 1km. 빠이빠이.
바이바이. 안녕히 가세요. Wow, what a wonderful stay with Kim. I need a bit of time just to chill and decompress before providing the debrief of my stay with Kim. But I've got a nice long day walking through the mountains today. Weather again looks absolutely ideal. Hello, doggy. Well, this is one day where I was heading in search of a restaurant. Doesn't look like I'd have had any luck. Well, I think this road might go all the way through this section, which would be lovely. This is my favourite kind of walking, just secluded roads through woodland and mountains. So I arrived at Kim's, and I asked him if there was a restaurant, and he said no. And as I was leaving, he came out to find me, said something, and ushered me back to his place. And he gave me some of this kind of rice starch and a coffee. And to be honest, it was about as nutritional as my biscuits, so it was not. I was grateful. But then he got out the home-brewed rice wine, and we had a couple of glasses of that. And then a couple of other lads appeared. Kim just started picking pumpkin leaves and chilies, and this other guy just started peeling garlic. We had some rice wine. It just turned into a gathering. And I told them, when I was chatting to them, I told them I was a cook back in England. So when we went inside, the knife and chopping board was handed to me, and I was going to cook English pork. So I just started cutting the pork, and there was only pork, onions, garlic and chili for the meal. So I just was going to brown off the pork in a couple of batches and just cook it with onions, basically. So I started browning off the first batch of pork, and this caused a bit of a stir because why isn't he cooking all of it, from this guy that was a critic of mine. And I kind of just tried to calm him down. And by this point I realised that it was just going to be pork and onions, so I had a little wander out into the garden. And I'd had quite a few rice wines by this point, and I found a nice lettuce patch at the back of the garden. So I decided I was going to do some stir-fried lettuce, which is a popular dish in China. So I picked a load of that, gave it a wash, and I came back in. I was not popular clutching a big bundle of lettuce. My critic was straight onto me about, what's he doing with lettuce? This is in Korean, but I could tell the tone. And by this point they'd already got hold of my first batch of fried pork and were just wrapping it in perilla leaves with garlic and chili, and my meal had just been hijacked. Basically they wanted to try my food, but only if it conformed to exactly what they were used to. So I just carried on, basically. I fried the pork and got the pork fat, fried off some crushed garlic and a few chopped chilies and some lettuce. If you are going to do this, it's a really nice dish if you're having a stir fry. If you're having a Chinese meal with rice, just quickly stir fry the white stalks of the lettuce. Romaine lettuce, nothing lighter than that, like an iceberg or a gem. You want romaine and darker. You can do it with even like whole spinach or cavolo nero, and just use plenty of oil and garlic. Stir fry the whites of the lettuce for 30 seconds, and then add all the green bits, and you can then just turn off the heat, because by the time the oil has coated the lettuce, it's cooked. And a bit of salt, maybe a little bit of vinegar if you've got any, but it's not necessary. And I served it up, and it was an absolute banger of a stir-fried lettuce. It was. They started tucking in. I was getting some murmurs of approval, but my critic wasn't touching it. Eventually tried some and looked at me and nodded, and yeah, they enjoyed it. So, and then this other lady came round, and my critic said oh, try the foreigners stir-fried lettuce, which was a real moment of personal satisfaction for me. And yeah, we just carried on the rice wine and soju, and just turned into a little party. And by this point in the night, I'd had like a lot of the rice wine. We had loads of different food. Kim cooked some rice, and we were just having a nice time. And I was feeling quite drunk. But I looked over, I like squinted and looked over at the clock on the wall, and it said something like 6:30. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was, you know, going on midnight. I thought, like, when are these guys going to leave and I can get some rest? So that was a brief moment of despair. But we carried on having some drinks, and it all kind of wound down, I think, by about 8 or 9. And I just pitched my tent in the garden. Kim's water pump was going off all night, but I got us some rest. And yeah, he made me some sesame porridge this morning. He gave me a full wash and scrub on the outside shower. He was like, "Go and wash your face," so I was, and he looked over and I wasn't doing it right, so he came over and like got this brush and started like washing my back. So that was nice of him. And he sent me on my way this morning. So just a very, very nice day. Feel very nourished by some really, really nice, friendly, welcoming Koreans. And yeah, so the adventure continues. Now this road should turn off onto a trail on the left here, which would mean I can walk through this mountain range rather than go back down to the road and walk around that way. So, moment of truth. Okay, that is very promising. It's not even a trail, it's a road. But it goes where I'm wanting it to go. Yes. Hello, chipmunk. I can see you. It's too good a spot just to turn down. I mean, this is just camping heaven around here. Kim gave me some of his rice starch for my travels. And if you've never tried this, don't worry, it tastes exactly how it looks. Dense, chewy, good for the trail.